Welcome to GeoCrisis Update. In today's video, we'll be diving into one of the most critical geopolitical flashpoints of our time, Taiwan and the growing military tension between the island and China. As China ramps up its military exercises and flexes its power, the situation in the Taiwan Strait is becoming increasingly volatile, with global implications. To fully grasp the severity of the current situation, we must look at Taiwan's historical and political root. At the end of the Chinese Civil War in 1949, the nationalist government led by Chiang Kai-shek retreated to Taiwan after being defeated by Mao Zedong's communist forces. Over 2 million people, including soldiers, government officials, and civilians, fled to Taiwan, creating a parallel government that continued to claim sovereignty over all of China. From then on, Taiwan developed into a separate political entity. While the People's Republic of China, PRC, in Beijing continued to claim Taiwan as part of its territory, Taiwan established a distinct political and economic system. Over the decades, Taiwan has grown into a vibrant, prosperous democracy, housing a population of over 23 million people. The island's status, however, remains a thorny issue in global geopolitics. For China, Taiwan has always been seen as an inalienable part of its territory, something to be eventually reunified, whether peacefully or through force. However, Taiwan views itself as an independent entity, especially as its society continues to lean more toward democracy and self-governance. This fundamental difference sets the stage for the long-standing tensions that have only escalated over time. The issue is not just about territorial control. It's about ideology, identity, and the legacy of the 20th century. On one side is China, led by the Communist Party, a country that has increasingly embraced authoritarian governance under President Xi Jinping. On the other is Taiwan, a beacon of democracy in East Asia, one that stands in direct contrast to the mainland's political model. Since Xi Jinping came to power in 2012, China's stance on Taiwan has become more assertive and uncompromising. She has repeatedly stressed that reunification is not only a historical inevitability, but also central to his vision for China's Great Rejuvenation. Under his leadership, the Chinese military has expanded rapidly, and there is growing evidence that she views military action as a legitimate tool to achieve unification if peaceful means fail. This brings us to October 2024, where China has launched Joint Sword 2024B, an extensive series of military drills near Taiwan. These exercises are not just for show, they are a clear demonstration of China's military might and a direct warning to Taiwan and its international supporters. They are also a signal of China's growing readiness to use force, if necessary, to assert its claims over Taiwan. The exercises have involved a full spectrum of China's military forces, from naval fleets and air force squadrons to ground troops and, for the first time, even the Chinese Coast Guard. These war games simulate what a potential invasion of Taiwan might look like, with coordinated strikes against military targets, the encirclement of strategic ports, and blockade scenarios designed to cripple Taiwan's economy and defense systems. The presence of China's aircraft carrier Liaoning, along with dozens of fighter jets and warships, underscores the scale of these maneuvers. For Taiwan, the message is clear. China is prepared to take military action if it perceives that peaceful reunification is no longer achievable. Taiwan's response has been equally defiant. During his recent National Day speech, President Lai Ching-te made it clear that Taiwan rejects China's claims, reaffirming that Beijing has no right to represent the people of Taiwan. While his tone was more measured than in previous speeches, it still provoked a sharp reaction from Beijing, which views any challenge to its sovereignty over Taiwan as unacceptable. This military buildup is happening at a time when the global community is becoming increasingly involved in the Taiwan issue. The United States, in particular, has been a key player in the region. Although Washington officially recognized the People's Republic of China in 1979 and adopted a policy of strategic ambiguity concerning Taiwan, it has remained Taiwan's primary defense partner. Through arms sales, military training, and increasing naval presence in the Indo-Pacific, the U.S. has continued to bolster Taiwan's defense capabilities. Recently, the U.S. has intensified its military presence in the Pacific, conducting joint exercises with regional allies like Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines. These actions are part of a broader effort to counterbalance China's growing military dominance and ensure stability in the region. However, the US is walking a fine line. It seeks to prevent a war while also signaling that it is ready to defend Taiwan if necessary. Why does Taiwan matter so much to the United States and the world at large? The answer lies not only in geopolitics but also in economic. Taiwan is the global leader in semiconductor manufacturing, producing the vast majority of the world's advanced chip. These chips are vital for a wide range of industries, from consumer electronics like smartphones and computers to advanced weapons systems, satellites, and artificial intelligence technologies. A conflict in the Taiwan Strait could severely disrupt this supply chain, sending shockwaves through the global economy. The world is already experiencing chip shortages, and any disruption in Taiwan's semiconductor production would exacerbate this crisis, affecting everything from cars to medical equipment to military hardware. Beyond semiconductors, Taiwan's strategic location in the heart of the Indo-Pacific makes it a crucial player in global trade. The Taiwan Strait is a vital shipping route, and any military conflict in the area could disrupt global supply chains, with consequences for economies around the world. In short, the stakes could not be higher. On the military front, Taiwan has been working hard to bolster its defenses. Despite being vastly outnumbered by China's forces, Taiwan has invested heavily in asymmetric warfare strategies, focusing on missile defense systems, anti-ship weapons, and rapid response forces that could delay or disrupt a Chinese invasion. Recent arms sales from the United States, including F-16 fighter jets and advanced missile systems, are part of Taiwan's broader strategy to defend its sovereignty. However, military experts agree that Taiwan's best chance of withstanding a Chinese invasion would rely on international support, particularly from the United States and regional allies like Japan. Taiwan's defense strategy also includes preparing for a potential guerrilla warfare scenario should China succeed in landing troops on the island. The possibility of conflict has become more real in recent years. According to U.S. intelligence, Xi Jinping has reportedly instructed his military to be ready for a potential invasion of Taiwan by 2027. This timeline places the world in a dangerous countdown, with every year bringing the prospect of military action closer. As tensions continue to rise, many fear that diplomacy may no longer be enough to resolve the Taiwan issue. While international pressure, particularly from the United States and its allies, might force China to think twice before launching an invasion, Beijing's growing military might and assertive rhetoric suggest that the window for a peaceful solution is narrowing. In the end, the Taiwan question is not just a regional issue, it is a global one. A military conflict in the Taiwan Strait could spark a wider war, drawing in global powers like the US, Japan, and Australia, and potentially reshaping the geopolitical landscape for decades to come. As we watch these events unfold, one thing is certain: the world cannot afford to ignore the Taiwan Strait. The future of Taiwan, and potentially the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific, hangs in the balance. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can stay updated on this rapidly evolving situation.